Shanique, what's going on? Unmute yourself. Obviously, you've been unmuted. What's the deal? How you doing?
Hi guys, how are you? Thank you so much for your hard work. I have a question. I've been doing the match with my 401k, putting money in my Roth IRA, and also I'm about to create an emergency fund. No, I'm looking to have roughly 20k, and I want to eventually buy a house within 5 to 10 years.
Mhm.
I already have another brokerage account with Robinhood with some money in there, but I'm not putting any more money in Robinhood. What I want to do is create another brokerage account just to do what you said, buy two tech stocks, buy two index funds.
Mhm.
But I already have index funds in my Roth IRA. So honestly, what I really want to do is buy all Apple stocks with the 20K. What would you do?
Literally two. What indexes do you have in your 401k?
So I have I'm gonna pull it up right now. Sorry, 1 second.
The
So
advice seriously. Go ahead.
it's through Fidelity, and I have just their index fund, which is the total
Mhm.
market index fund. I have the bond fund, and then I also have an international ETF.
I would do VGT, VTI. I can't tell you what to do, but if it was me, I would do VGT, VTI, Apple, Microsoft. Set it and forget it, and go look at the comments right now. If this worked, if you did it, put yes in chat. The hardest
Okay.
part about investing, however, in doing this is that it feels like it's going to take too long, and then people are going to talk you out of it for one reason, because they're not doing it. So there's always fear, even amongst friends. That's what the 5 people you talk to think is important, because a lot of people don't want to miss out on those gains, so they hope that you don't get them. You ask any other person, is Apple a good company? Is Microsoft a good company? 9 out of 10 is going to say yes, especially if you pair the two together. Same with Visa and MasterCard. Same with retail. Like if you pair Target and Walmart or Target and Nike together, works flawlessly, right? A lot of times people are going to talk you out of it because they're not actively investing, and they're pressing their hate upon you, hoping that you don't have the gains. So you can't say, I made 300,000 in 11 years doing this, and they missed out because they didn't want to do it. So VGT, VTI, Microsoft, Apple.
Another thing is,
So
I would,
go ahead. I'm sorry.
I don't, I don't. How old are you?
I'm 33.
Yeah, you have a bond fund. I probably wouldn't have a bond fund in the portfolio. That's too conservative.
Maybe three, yeah, maybe like 3%, like not to you 40, 50. Wait,
Yeah.
wait.
And also, when Ian said, has it, the crazy thing is like, I feel like most people that's investing, they don't even have enough time to even, they're not even qualified to say if their investment strategy is working or not. Because if you didn't invest for 10 years, 20 years, like this is the type of long-term planning. So even like people get frustrated, like, nah, it hasn't worked, or I haven't seen the gains. You don't, your
Like you've
case
been in
study
there
is
three
not,
weeks.
yeah, you don't even have a long enough case study.
Yeah.
Like in science, like you got to actually, you can't just do a survey based off of one day or even a year. You got to look at 10 years to actually even have enough data to give an educated answer. So I think that people have a lack of patience. And it's like, you've invested for 18 months, not talking to you, I'm just saying just in general, you
Yeah.
invested for 12 months, 18 months, 6 months. You're not really even in a position to have that type of feedback yet, because you don't have enough time in. Like, so this is why it's like long term, buy and hold, invest every single month, invest every time you get paid. And then look at it 10 years, 20, I guarantee you it's going to work out. It never has not worked out. That's the thing. Like, you can actually backtrack. This is the good thing about the stock market. You can look, like you can actually put together a portfolio and back test it and say, okay, if I invested $20,000 in this fund or this ETF 10 years ago, what would it be right now? Obviously, that's not going to say like that's exactly what's going to happen, but you can have some level of understanding of what probably will happen in the future by what already has happened in the past. And This is why when you're looking at your 401k, the rates of return for the last 10 years since its inception, the last 5 years is extremely important because history usually repeats itself.
Yeah.
In life and investing. Like if there's a fund, like the reason why I talked about the Franklin Dynatech fund on our episode that we did with Ian originally in episode 70, I used to put a lot of clients in there is because since it has over 50 years and since 1968, it's averaged like 12% a year. So what's the odds of something that's averaging 12 to 15% a year for 50 years to just fall off a cliff in year 51? It's probably not going to happen. And that fund is continuously performing well. So you don't have to really be a rocket scientist to figure that out. You look at what it has done historically, and you kind of gauge that, okay, this is probably a good indicator of what will happen in the future, even though we always say that past performance does not dictate future gains because legally we can't say that. But I mean, just using common sense. And this is the same thing. Like once you understand one thing, you understand all things. So it's the same thing with sports. It's the same thing with the weather. Like they backtrack the weather.
With real estate.
Yeah, you look at what happened and they you judge it from there.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. That's my approach. I don't mind putting money in the market every month. I like it. I don't want to touch it. So I really I'm very comfortable with long-term saving. Another thing is why I wanted to just throw everything in Apple, because the price of Apple is like 134 right now, as opposed to the others that you mentioned, they're a little bit higher. So I know time in the market is better than time in the market. So I know diversity.
You got me, so I can time it for you.
Okay. Well, you already gave the mark for Apple, so I know where to get in. The others, I don't know so much, but because I know Apple, if it hits that number, I was just thinking to just throw it all in there. But I'm gonna do what you say.
Microsoft.
I remember the number for Apple. It was like 118.
Yeah.
So
he said under 120 is good.
So on March 30th, it was 119.90. And so that should have been the sign. Boom. It hit the number that our resident wizard had mentioned.
I appreciate that.
Let's get in. That would have been a good time.
Microsoft 214.45 is a good area. If it ever gets down to 198.82, I would be elated, like out of my mind. And then 223.38 for Microsoft. Those are the three prices.
Thank you so much, Ian.
You're welcome. I appreciate you.
Thank you guys for your time. Have a good day.
You as well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, Shadi, I just want to give you a round of applause for all the science tech lab teachers who you just went through a hypothesis, a trial.
That's true. Needed preponderance of data. Yep.
Thank you.
You learned something. You learned something in school.
Yeah, man. I remember going into lab like, damn, it's lab today. It's gonna be a
lab snatched my soul at Indiana University.
Oh,
I was
like, no, you gotta back, and that's what I was telling one of my friends. And I was telling, like, even this social media influencer, we don't know how this is going to work out for a lot of people, and that's why I hope and pray that these people are saving their money and investing their money, because there's not enough case study to even know. This just happened 2 years ago, really 8 months ago. So we don't even know. There's not a long enough case study to know how this is actually going to turn out.
We know what happened with MySpace. We know what happened with Vine. OnlyFans creators. Oh, baby. They're trying to go public. They're going to clean it up too.
The difference with that is that I don't think MySpace had superstars or like Vine.
That's true. Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? That's monetizing. That's really monetizing and out here really getting to it. So I just say that to say, like, you know, the long game. You got to play the long game. Anything that you do, and just have patience and understand that if you don't have enough time to do a hypothesis, then err on the side of caution. Err on the side of caution.
That advice that Shaq gave, and Shaq has a bunch of coins. That 75 rule, saving and investing, is legendary.